So let's get to the point of the video. I don't want to hold you guys up, especially Professor Dave. If he sees his name in the title, sees his picture, he's like, what? Put some respect on Lord Jamar's name. What is she talking about? Yes, sir. Professor Dave, if you don't know who he is, I'm just going to link his channel. I'm going to tell you, he has millions of viewers, listeners on YouTube alone. I don't know about any other platform, but I have been watching this guy off and on for years. But I've been watching for the education. I have not watched any of his debates. Now, recently he debated Lord Jamar. Yes, Lord Jamar. You know what I mean? Podcast, Lord Jamar. Okay, now for us old schoolers, brand newbie in Lord Jamar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Professor, you got to put some respect on this man's name. Now, why am I saying that? Listen, Professor Dave knows his stuff. Lord Jamar didn't have no business debating this man. And I didn't even watch it until recently. Now, I heard about it when it all went down because Godfrey and Jamar got into it. Now, Godfrey, that's my dude right there. But he had it on his platform. And then Jamar and Godfrey got into it. I saw the debate. I said, okay, I'm going to stick clear for a little while. And because I don't watch anything with Jamar, honey. And I'm going to really try not to be specific on that. But just not my cup of tea. I'll say that. But he did debated Professor David. He got his butt kicked. Okay, and that's an understatement, but Professor Dave not only knows his stuff, he knows it's like playing spades with somebody who is good at playing spades, but they also talk that talk real good. You know, that's who you want to be your partner because y'all be having a ball, okay? And you be clowning them while you be killing them. That's that dude right there. I'm telling you, he real good at it. And I had no idea that he got what's his name, Carter, from somebody, the one people was all into, and I watched that one. Yeah, he ate him up real good. He was on Joe Rogan. He ate him up. Ben Carson, I think. And then he did Terrence Howard. From the title, I said, oh, this gonna be a hard watch for me. Oh, it's gonna be a hard watch for me. But I have him in a playlist. So I'm gonna watch him because I wanted somebody who is hopefully capable of sifting through the things that Terrence Howard is saying and give their synopsis. I mean, I've heard opinions online and whatnot. I actually just recently found a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson who did a response. He said Terrence Howard sent him his paperwork and yeah, that wasn't good. So I already know Professor Dave with the titles and the amount of videos he's done on Terrence and the other guy that he was an actor, Russell Brand. Yeah, I haven't watched them two together. I don't know what they talk about over there, but whatever it is, he digging in them. So he does that. He debates people who have certain theories, and he is debating anti-vaxxers, all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna watch that too because I don't be out here getting all into yay or nay for this side or that side with things, but I guess I'm against the vaxxers. But that's just a personal opinion for me. You know, I'm not gonna run out here and say, "Hey, don't y'all da 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 blah blah blah, ain't good for you." I just know about me. At least I think I do. And I do have some qualifications on taking my stance, but we not. That's not what we're talking about here. And no, I ain't debating this guy in no subject. You understand me? And Jamar should have took that same advice, y'all. Lord Jamar should have taken that same advice. Now, the debate they did, the reactions that Professor Dave did, I think there were two that I saw. Hilarious, real good. Get your popcorn, get your soda. I'm going to review those, and baby, it's going to be live. Oh, yeah, because it's live. I mean, it's real good. It's real good. But this is something else. So Professor Dave, just the same way that you're saying Lord Jamar, and I agree, should know what he's talking about. He should do his research and all that. If you're gonna speak on things that are outside of what the actual debate subject is about, then you should do your research too. And it sounds like you have it. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and not assume that you're just trying to be insulting. However, in my Birdman voice, put some respect on his name, okay? Because you commented on some things. You said at least more than once, like who is he, and you just try to downplay the brother, and I just wasn't okay with that. When you were going over the VLAD interview, and the subject came up about Lil Jamar in the past when he said about Eminem, and he said Eminem don't qualify. No, no, no. What he said was something to the effect of white rappers, when they come into the rap game, they're coming into our space, so they're guests in our house. And that didn't sit well with you. And you were like, who are you? And da da da, and Eminem and all that kind of stuff. Well, I personally, not that it matters, but I don't necessarily disagree with that statement from Lord Jamar.
The South Pole, ice cold with a vice hole on all crime. They're getting paid even if the shit is small time. All your dimes will get took. Then watch them slang them things cause they nothing but a gang of crooks. Things look like they'll be here for a while. Mommy and daddy better fear for their child cause they style is not just making the fast chickens. They also into murder and kickings, extortion and kidnap for kids that's black. Handsome ransom might just get you your kid back. But either way, they're gonna make loot. If they keep the kid, he's gonna do a bit as a prostitute. Going free for the GANG from 6 to 66. They con is catching fix. Just sticks in your mind. Make a nigga wanna go out and fight crime. I writes rhymes as an answer to their gang signs. So when they wanna jack your car, you can sing mine.
So Professor Dave, just the same way that you're saying Lord Jamar, and I agree, should know what he's talking about. He should do his research and all that. If you're gonna speak on things that are outside of what the actual debate subject is about, then you should do your research too. And it sounds like you have it. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and not assume that you're just trying to be insulting. However, in my Birdman voice, put some respect on his name, okay? Because you commented on some things. You said at least more than once, like who is he, and you just try to downplay the brother, and I just wasn't okay with that. When you were going over the VLAD interview, and the subject came up about Lil Jamar in the past when he said about Eminem, and he said Eminem don't qualify. No, no, no. What he said was something to the effect of white rappers, when they come into the rap game, they're coming into our space, so they're guests in our house. And that didn't sit well with you, and you were like, who are you? And da da da, and Eminem and all that kind of stuff. Well, I personally, not that it matters, but I don't necessarily disagree with that statement from Lord Jamar.
The South Pole, ice cold with a vice hole on all crime. They're getting paid even if the shit is small time. All your dimes will get took. Then watch them slang them things cause they nothing but a gang of crooks. Things look like they'll be here for a while. Mommy and daddy better fear for their child cause they style is not just making the fast chickens. They also into murder and kickings, extortion and kidnap for kids that's black. Handsome ransom might just get you your kid back. But either way, they're gonna make loot. If they keep the kid, he's gonna do a bit as a prostitute. Going free for the GANG from 6 to 66. They con is catching fix. Just sticks in your mind. Make a nigga wanna go out and fight crime. I writes rhymes as an answer to their gang signs. So when they wanna jack your car, you can sing mines.
And who is he? He's Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian. That's who he is. Do I like the guy? No. Do I think he's a plum fool? Yeah. That debate? Yeah, he played himself. And you kicked his butt. And it was funny. And, I give you all your props on that. But when you came at him about the Eminem thing, honey, let me tell you something. Apparently you didn't want to do your research. You was like, oh, he's some rap guy and shit like that. Listen, if anything, Lord Jamar is Eminem's daddy. Okay, yeah, I said it. Y'all can clip it, do what you want to do. You can react. You can say what you want to say. But Just like Professor Dave knows his stuff, I do know what I'm talking about, and these are all facts. Okay, he would be Eminem's daddy. So, Brand Nubian, if you don't know, is a very important group in our culture's history. And the statement that he was making, not that it really needs to go, not that I really need to get into it, but I do tend to agree with what he's saying because those are my personal feelings, and I have a right to it just like Lord Jamar does, but he has more of a right than I do because he's one of the originals in this game. Okay. So there are a couple of documentaries, at least that I know of online, probably way more that you can watch, but there's some shorter ones. I can share them and you can take a look and you can just get a little history on Brand Nubian. And one thing you'll find is that Lord Jamar always been Lord Jamar. Even one documentary kind of accredited him to being probably one of the main reasons that Brand Nubian broke up because, the guy was saying, hey, Sadat and Lord Jamar, they were more militant, and Puba came through and he was more welcoming. And when he was off doing his solo career, Sadat and Jamar alone were just too militant. So they, as a group, I believe, only had one album. However, they got 5 mics on that album and another award, and that's the same as uh, Oscar. What is it? Emmy. Um, in today's time, I would say they came through with a conscious rap. They were one of the first groups and the most prominent groups to really, really be in conscious rap and at the beginning of hip hop. Okay. And they held that down for a good 10 plus years. Uh, Although they had, their breakups and whatnot, they were a very, very important group to this whole road. And if it wasn't no Brand Nubian, there would be no Eminem. So he is essentially Eminem's daddy. Okay. So do your research, please, on that before you try and downplay my brother again. And you know that song, "Slow Down" by Brand Nubian. Oh, of course you don't, but they have a song called "Slow Down." What I am is what I am. Okay, I didn't say I could sing, but uh, Sadat came up with the beats and melodies and everything for that song. I can't say just how much, I don't recall, but I do recall him saying that he got that from Eddie Brickles at her in the New Bohemians. What I am is what I am. So that's where that came from. And then you have Eminem, I am whatever you say I am. And if anybody is good at finding samples, I'm pretty sure that the Eminem song did derive from that in some sort. I do hear some similar melodies, and even if not, even if there's no samplings, no beats, variations from that song, again, they's the daddies. Okay, we know how music goes, and we know that things are passed down and repeated and just remixed in their own way. So, in my opinion, without doing any deep diving, I do believe that that song "I Am" would not even exist. Eminem would not even exist if it was not for Brand Nubian. And you would have to do your research, like I said, into Brand Nubian and what they contributed to rap, hip hop, and everything. By the time that this group decided that they were going to try and do it as a whole, because Brand Nubian had his issues. I mean, Grand Poopa had his issues on why he couldn't really do his thing solo, and then Sadat and Lord Jamar, they were too militant by themselves, and the powers that be wanted to, kind of move away from all that conscious talk and stuff. Anyway, so by the time that they got together, got their album, and decided that they were gonna, get back together as a group and really do this thing, that's about the time that, they started changing the sound and everything of hip hop. And it was no longer being conscious anymore. And then you started getting like, the more hardcore lyrics and uh, lyrics that, uh, we know the history. We know the thing and everything. Okay. And it is said that Lord Jamar was the most militant and, how can you say, rebellious of the group. And from what I remember in my research, it seems like he was. Now, did he know his stuff and what he was talking about then? I don't know. I was young. I wasn't really paying attention to what the heck that boy was saying back then. I was into their music. They have a few songs that I do like, but this is a very respected group and they have earned that and they will always earn that. So I just want to make it clear that you are being disrespectful when you're like, who is Lord Jamar? And especially when you're referencing his statement concerning Eminem. I know a lot of people do not like that statement because people have Eminem in their top 5 and all that kind of stuff. I Am by Eminem is my favorite song by him. And I did like, some of his earlier music. It's unfortunate that he came out talking all that junk about his mom and his wife. But, he's a crazy wild boy then, and I like that. So I can't take away from his talent or what have you, but I am shocked to this day, and I think I always will be, why people rank him so high. But hey, I don't rank Jay-Z where everybody else ranks him. I just don't understand that. I don't understand Jay-Z's ranking. I don't understand Eminem's ranking. So at the end of the day, regardless of that, people have given him a certain status. However, in my opinion, and this is my personal opinion, Eminem can never outrank Brand Nubian to me. They are the originals. They paved the way, and there would not be pretty much anybody, and nobody can debate this. There will be nobody that we got if Brand Nubian didn't do their thing for so long. When Grand Pooba got with Mary J and they did What's the 411, that was the first time that they mixed rap and R&B like that. Mary was the first one, being a girl, coming out rapping with this certain kind of R&B-ish type sound. I mean, we got to give it up to the Diddler. But he also, P. Diddy, and this is not just my opinion, this is the opinions of others as well. P. Diddy got a lot of his style from Grand Pooba in the way he had Mary style. Or a lot of that came from Grand Pooba, which was the most popular and versatile of Brand Nubian. But they have a mark in this. They are the grandfathers of this, without a doubt. They're not the only ones, there's more, but there is a timeline that leads up to everything that we have had and everything that we have today. And again, Lord Jamar is essentially Eminem's daddy. Okay, so if he says that you're coming into our space in a whole genre that he was one of the founding fathers of, he can say that. He can say that. And I think that a lot of people disagree because first, they don't really know who he is. Second, even if they did, they probably wouldn't care that much. And some do, I'm sure, and still don't care because it's just popular to say Eminem is the best. He's one of the top 5 and all that. I don't agree with that. And guess what? Even if I did agree, I still would say what I'm saying. And I agree with Lord Jamar. I want to say 100%, but I don't know. I'm coming from a certain perspective and I'm not in that particular genre. So I kind of look at that. And then I also look at it like, hey, I'm also a female. Yes, there's women in rap and all that kind of stuff, but still at the end of the day, hey, I don't know all the rules. I think some of them may be unspoken, but as someone who is of the same, what y'all call it, race, and who we all grew up to this is come from our culture. Okay, this comes from our culture. So if Brand Nubian is one of the founding fathers, what made them start putting lyrics down? What made them start, I guess you can call it rap, but I don't think it was necessarily called rap at that time. But what made them start coming together and giving their messages? This had to do with our life, our environment, things we were going through, things we were facing, and stuff like that. And a lot of these things that these brothers were talking about and talking against were specific to our people. Okay. That's how all of this got started. All right. So, yes, this is our shit. Okay. Just because people always want to invite others to the cookouts doesn't mean that they necessarily belong to the cookout, but an invite to the cookout is an invite. It doesn't mean you are the ones holding the cookout. It doesn't mean that it's your cookout. It means that we're welcoming you to the cookout. So I understand that someone like Eminem may feel like he really put his down. I've seen a little back and forth that they had or whatever. I don't care about none of that. That's between them. And I imagine Eminem may feel differently. He want to hold his stance and stuff like that. But I really don't care at the end of the day because I'll never agree with him. It doesn't matter that he contributed to his career and all that. And people ranked him so high and everything. To me, he doesn't qualify for any of that, especially over a lot of people. And I would say Brand Nubian is one of them. I would also, say people like Eric B. and Rakim, Eric Sermon, EPMD, the list goes on and on. You got Slickwick, you got Kwame, you got a lot of them, even Special Ed. So, Public Enemy, I mean, just a lot of people that we don't mention, but you hear Eminem's name all day long, and it's weird to me. DMX, okay? Child, please, this is our shit, okay? You can feel how you want to feel about it, but at the end of the day, you're not of our culture, so your opinion is just your opinion, but it does not really have, it's just your opinion. It doesn't really count. But don't disrespect Lord Jamar and Brand Nubian. Now, when it comes to that flat earth and other stuff y'all debating, you can do that all day. Do your research on Brand Nubian and put some respect on their names. Just because Jamar is a jerk and he clearly is not very intelligent and the whole ninth grade thing, the way you ride it, I ain't mad at you. Because it's befitting. Every crack, every joke, every diss, I agree with. I agree with pretty much everything I've heard you say on your reviews of these debates and reactions, except for when you're, who is he and, who is he to say this about Eminem? That part. When you get to talking about rap and hip hop, I can't rock with you on that. And I just want to say, put some respect on his name. You can separate the two because they are separate. I do. I don't like Jamar no more than you do. Okay? Especially when he made that broad comment, but I'm not even surprised to hear that type of talk come out of his mouth. I don't even know how Rod Digger sat up there and I don't even know if they still doing a podcast together, but that's my girl right there. Curtains for all y'all. But punks jump up to get beat down now. he can't beat you in any scientific debate. I don't know what's wrong with that dude. But when it comes to his history and the mark that he's placed upon our culture and our music, this is a legend. Okay? I can separate because I do not like Lord Jamar. Not even a little bit. Okay? It's just some people, even though I know how he is, and that's legitimate enough, but sometimes it's just some people you can just look at them and tell you don't like them. So social media has done us a disservice in a lot of ways because we have people that we respect and admire them for some things, and then we just finding out other stuff about them, and it's like, ugh. And I just rather he never took the mic in this way after he dropped it in another way, because I do think he's a first class dummy. I'm talking about Fred G. Sanford, big dummy. But hip hop, Brand Nubian, conscious rap, they kept this thing going for about 10 plus years. Sadat is nice. Puba is nice. And I hear people saying Jamar and his flows and stuff, man, he had this, I think he was versatile in his flow, and I like that. I like when he, rhymed and I can't remember what song that was, but he kind of sound like what is it? The group Reverb of Slick, and of course they would have come from who? Lord Jamar and Brand Nubian. We wouldn't have the Most Def. Shout out to Most Def. He is definitely one of my top. He is definitely one of the best, and he is a legend in himself. But everybody who came after Brand Nubian carried the torch. Okay? They carried the torch, especially the ones that were more conscious with it. But even the ones who took a harder approach and were less conscious. And again, Jamar can get in his own way because, it's the consensus says, he was a problem. He was a problem. But so were the other guys too, so everybody had their troubles, right? Yes. And some people get older, but they don't really grow. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was that joke V-Lad said to him? Peace to the gods and flat earths. That was hilarious, and I never find V-Lad funny. I kind of am impressed that you don't know who V-Lad is, but that also tells me that you just don't know who Lord Jamar is. But I'm making this video because I can't let that slide. You got too many followers, too many viewers, and it's contradictory, sir, because you want Jamar to do his research. If you're going to speak on him, you should too. You can't sit up here and say he is some rap guy and then turn around and say he can't say Eminem. How do you know? How do you know he doesn't have a right to say it? Because you think it's racist? Because you said he was racist. Is he racist? I don't. He could. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would have to have a particular conversation with him to say that I'm not just gonna label somebody racist because they're outspoken on some things. But does that statement make him racist? No, I don't think that statement qualifies as racist. People are so quick to say that these days. So I know pretty much everybody who don't like that statement will say it's racist. Call it what you want, because this country was built on race and everything is about race, unfortunately. And it happens to be about that. I don't care how Eminem grew up. That's just the same. It's just what he's saying, in my opinion, is the same thing as saying they can't say nigga. Okay? Same thing. Except for, get this, people can give them a pass. Didn't Dre and 50 Cent bring in Eminem, bless him in? Everybody accepted him. But nobody can give somebody a pass because they your homeboy and say, yeah, you can say the word. I know people try to, but don't get caught. That's all I can say, because it's never going to be that. However, in this situation, if people allow it to happen, it's going to happen. Eminem does not deserve to have